What's up, everybody? Tesla coming in hot. Dun dun dun, popping. And here we are. Dun dun dun. Didn't even start out with the 30 minutes of awesome screen like I normally do. But look at this. We closed at $1.44. 144. Duh. 144 and 157. Right up there. Boom. Boom. And I'll tell you what. How exciting is that? Anyway, that's weird. The lights are shaking. I didn't feel the room move. Anyway, Tesla earnings happening now. Now, hopefully, when Elon gets on and starts talking, we don't just drop it out. But always possible. And we have the PCE. That's personal consumer expenditures coming up on Friday. That's Powell's favorite inflation gauge, I guess. I don't know. They like discount all the stuff, and it's kind of crazy. This image right here, this is not a real image. This is AI generated, 100% AI generated, not even real a little bit. Craziness. And of course, we're gonna take 30 minutes of your requests. That's the whole point of the show. So let's talk about some stuff first, though. And I will let you know. Like, don't just throw out requests at me. Give me a minute. We're gonna get to there. I'll give you the rules. So just hold off. Don't do it yet. Don't prematurely fire requests. We'll get there in just a minute. All right. So Tesla earnings. Dun 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 dun. Heading back over here, and we'll have to pull up the announcements here. Tesla reports sharp drop in first quarter earnings. Well, duh. Right here, we see company reported income 1.1 billion for the January-March period, down 55% for the prior year. We already knew that was going to happen. Revenue fell 9% to 21.3 billion, and 45% shares missed Wall Street's expectations. What were the expectations? Go back and look. What was the expectation? Click on the little doodad there. Expectation was, there, it picked it up now. Expectation was 49. We got 45. Missed on the top, missed on the bottom. But they were not as bad, I guess you might say, as you might expect. The Model 2 and a Robotaxi potentially coming out, and a new Q3 or Model 3 performance with a 2.9 second 0 to 60 was announced, I guess today, possibly. And we roll on down. So they're juicing it up, baby. I guess that's what you would say. Juicing it up, trying to get hype into kind of a lackluster quarter. But some of the problems here, we had factories closing down unexpectedly. We've had some Cybertruck issues, kind of halted that line for a little bit. And I mean, like, if you didn't notice, the accelerator pedal slipping off and jamming itself on full go on some Cybertrucks, and their solution is to put in like a nickel rivet or whatever, drill a hole through it and pop a rivet in there, and hey, I guess mechanical connection works. So anyway, that's what we got on Tesla. Yet it's rallying. What the fudge muffins? Some people have already commented to me, what is going on? Why would they rally when they missed earnings and everything looks crappy and all that stuff? But I kind of thought we were going to rally on earnings, and we could rally potentially upwards of 50%. That's what we did last year at this time, Q1, 50% rally. So there we go. Plan B is called a feature. Yeah, it's a feature that the accelerator pedal jams in the floor, right? So there we go. That very well possibly could be the bottom for now. Right here, we rallied a strong 50% right there. How soon we forget. We were down here, beaten down, same kind of area, launched off of earnings at about a 50% rise right there. I was thinking, most of the time when we've gotten just obliterated into earnings, we tend to pop on Tesla. That just tends to be what we do. We as humans kind of react that way. So we'll see if we can hold on to this into the open tomorrow, or if something bad happens and we bleed it back off. I don't know. Elon has a tendency to talk it back down. So we'll see what happens there. PCE coming up on Friday. Refreshing the calendar here. And we roll down to Friday. You can see core PCE right there. personal income, personal spending, all coming out before the market opens on Friday. Like I said, Powell's favorite number, and that's right in the face of the FOMC coming up next week on May 1st, right here. So right after 30 minutes of awesome next week. Now, I do caution, I have criminal court jury duty next week and the following week. So any of these days, I may or may not be able to do my morning show. And 30 minutes of awesome is also like a question. I might have to push it back just a little bit if I get selected to do jury duty, I guess. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Stay flexible. I guess that's what we say. I'm going to try to get all the live streams and everything done, but it may not be as timely as normal. We'll see. I'm just not optimistic that this is a government thing, right? Like the government runs jury duty, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, let me hit the highlights, and then we can get into requests. So highlights, starting out with the S&P 500 on the ES. I like to look at the futures because they kind of started rallying or kept rallying right into the close of the day right there. Even though we got a little pullback into the cash close, we saw an actual rally up into the futures close. Futures will reopen here at 6 o'clock, about 52 minutes from now, and then we'll see where we go overnight. Right now, that's a pretty good breakout. We're kind of getting a little bit of a channeling thing going on, and we broke out of the top. That's pretty strong. Pretty strong. We were breaking above the 30-minute roadmap line. We were breaking above the 1-hour roadmap line. And next up, the 4-hour is just a little bit above us here. Now, the thing to be cognizant and aware of on this chart, let's just jump it over here really quickly and clean up. Give me a clean chart here. Cognizant and aware. There is a major resistance that we have to get through. A major resistance. And that is coming up. Give me a little more data. Let's go up to hour. There we go. That looks reasonable. That resistance is right in this zone right here. Right around 5,200. We got to get up through that zone right there to set the stage to go higher. All right. That's what we got to do. We have to bust back up through that zone, that orange zone, right around 5,200 up to say 50. I actually have it 5,250. If we can get above 5,250, probably going on up here to 5,430, and that's on the futures. SPX wise, same kind of situation here. Clear that off. Zoom this back down. Clear that one off, and same situation. That high, this low, right down here. Got to break above this 5,150 area. The numbers are just off just a little bit because there's a discrepancy of about 40-ish points between the cash index and the futures. All right. Futures are a future contract that expires in June currently. And the discrepancy between them, kind of a built-in theta, if you will. It's not really what it's called in futures talk, but kind of like theta if you're in options lingo. And so that's the discrepancy between those. So if we bust above that, could set us up to reach for a target right up here around 5,300, right up in that zone. So there's your resistance, right in that zone. We get above it, 70% likely to come cruising on up here. If we glance off of it, break back down, well, that could result in a bigger move down, possibly to the daily roadmap line down here in that vicinity right there. Potential to go down further. Something like, oh, bingo, bango, boom, right like that. Almost drew it perfect without even seeing the lines. So that's the zone we have to watch right there. Watch it like a hawk. Take us on down here. And if we were to extend it down to the 4,600 area, it's probably going to get continuation much, much lower. So that's definitely what we're watching here. Definitely some levels. All right. That's ES and S&P. Yeah, if you didn't know, ES is the futures for the S&P 500. They trade almost overnight, almost all overnight. There is a 1 hour pause between 5 and 6 p.m. each day, Eastern time, which is during the 30 minutes of awesome. And my alarm on my phone rings every day at 6 p.m. when the futures reopen, much to the chagrin of Kimberly sometimes. So, and Kimberly is here. Jason, Kimberly, Tara, Muku, Sergio, Francois, Mary, Rosalind, Kenneth, Michael, Valerie, Ed, Laura, Keith, Roland, Ellen, Rob, Mark, Thelma, Rob, Jan. Welcome, everybody. If you want to be say hey and chat with me, and you want to be ready to make requests, click the link right down here, right over here. Click the link, be a subscriber on the channel, and when I get to the request in just a minute, you can make requests. All right, I'll give you the rules here in just a second for the requests. Don't throw them in there yet. Don't go yet. Don't prematurely request them, miser. All right. In queue, this is the Nasdaq futures right here, also being quite bullish and has a similar, not the same, but a similar pattern and resistance that we're going to have to bust up through right here, that high, this low right down here, and our resistance level comes in right there, right in there. So we've got to get up through this 18,150, 18,200 area. Maybe this might extend even up to 18,400-ish right up here, where all this garbly gook kind of staticky price action was on the way down. If we can break above that, we may go cruising on up to 19,100 area up there on QQQ. Now you'd be like, JT, how in the devil do you trade QQQ? In Q, and it's QQQ right here. It's just you take those NQ prices, divide by like 41, and it roughly gets you the QQQ prices here. It's not perfectly 41, but it's pretty darn close to 41. So if we took you went NQ1 exclamation point divided by 41 right here, roughly 430, and we go look at QQQ and roughly 426. So pretty darn close. Not exactly, so 4 points off. So pretty darn close. Pretty close. Not perfect. Pretty close. All right. Russell. This one's interesting. Vara interesting. Potentially bouncing off. Oh, I turned off the wrong thing there. Potentially bouncing off the daily roadmap line here. The important level here. Same pattern, all three indexes. This is usually indicative that this is what we're going to do. We're going to continue probably rallying right up into this zone. Now, do we find resistance at this zone? Or do we bust through and go make a higher high? For now, 22.39 on Russell. You may be like, how do you trade that? The ticker for that one, IWM right here. Hopefully you know how to trade S&P 500, like SPY and all that S&P 500 stuff. As far as Nasdaq goes, you can do TQQQ, SQQQ, all the other QQQ things, all the other Nasdaq things. Russell, there's other ones too. IWM is just the easiest right there. So same situation, same pattern, same everything. We've got this same roadmap bounce right here, potential to get above here. And if we do, it is likely to extend. Now, something cool. I'll share this with you real quick. You see this whole thing right here, this whole pattern. Now, if we do that and break above that 618 right there, 70% likely that we go and tag that 1272 level up there. I've built this into a cool handy dandy indicator thing. And actually, I think the odds are a little higher. Let me change this to the default 0.9 and rerun the numbers. Yeah, 78% likely. 78% likely to go tag the conservative level just below that actual line. So ups the odds quite a bit. We tend to have fuzzy zones on those targets. So if we see this break above with a daily close above 205, highly likely we're going to get this move up to 217. That could be pretty good money right there. I don't know about you. Know about you, but a move from 205 to 217 would be pretty good. And the average time that would take is 28 trading days right there. 28 trading days. So, that's going to be a little longer than a month on average. And you should probably, if you're going to play it, you should probably give yourself 3 times longer than the average at the minimum. Right there. Right there. So that's set your alert right up here at the 205 area. We get a daily close above that. 78% likely. We're going to go cruising up here to like 216, 217 area right up here. That's pretty good. I mean, talk about a high probability trade. I've been working on this stuff in the background, trying to put some numbers to my market roadmap system. I'm actually built a whole alert system in Discord. It's pretty freaking slick. Pretty darn slick. Let me pull this over and show it. I don't usually show Discord on here at all. Let me show this off real quick. Let me I'm pretty excited about this. I've been pouring my energy in on the sidelines into doing this, and I've got to pop up the Termar Trading Lab group right here. Pop up the experimental alerts, and let me show you what it looks like here. Yeah, here's one right here. Go pull this down just trying to get it where I don't show a bunch of other people's stuff. Anyway, right here, you can see right here. Oh, I gotta hide all the hide the member list. There we go, and you can see the trading view throws the alert in here, and I have this bot called Mike that picks them up. Trading view CCJ 30-minute roadmap bounce, 100 new strategy position CCJ, and then my custom bot Mike here says, hey, CCJ is a new potential entry, has a historic win rate of 89%, has a profit factor of blah, blah, and average trade lasts about 53 bars. And that was a 30-minute. So if we go over and look at that, dun, 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 I like cool new stuff. I don't know about you. This is pretty slick. Right here, that's a daily 30-minute. Right here, that was the entry. Right there, that was the alert. And we look at the statistics on this baby, 89%, 2.5, and 53 bars. Right there. All the current statistics right there. Pow. Pretty slick, huh? Pretty darn slick, I think. So what is this telling us? Well, it's saying that we have an entry, and that entry was actually like right here, closed right there, and right there's the target up there around 50. Pretty darn slick. That's like 89% of the time we will hit that target right there. So let me know in the chat if you think that's kind of some slick stuff right there and you think you might want access to in the future. You can let me know. I've already got it coded into my experimental group. So right there. What service is it that you get access to? It's called the Termar Trading Lab right now. That's my Termar Trading Lab thing. That's pretty dang cool, I think. And that's what I'm building on the background. I'm sitting here working on this. We've done like, I think Rongamer did 6 paper trades, or maybe 6 wins and 1 loss on this system already, just in the last few days. It throws out like I back tested it for 6 years, pulled data for 6 years, and that's what kind of powers the statistics here, right here. This is 6 years worth of data, and 8,977 trades, average of 6 trades per day or something like that across the set of tickers that I have this loaded up on. And the average win rate is like 77%. Just ridiculous. I mean, like 8,000 trades. And it's the exact same, like nothing changes between the back test and the live forward test. It's all the exact same data. Pretty dang cool. You ask me. I have this hooked up on a 30-minute time frame, but it works on all time frames. As you can see, I can bounce around and change time frames, and it sets up it changes the statistics and the win rates. Doesn't matter what what time frame. Yeah, this one not so great on the daily chart. So I have it filtered down to a list of 192 tickers. Right there, the 30-minute roadmap bounce, 192 tickers that are most likely to work out. Pretty slick stuff. Anyway. Pretty neat, huh? So if you're interested in that, let me know in Discord, and we can. I mean, right now the only way you can get it is Termar Trading Labs until we figure it out. We'll probably sell it in a few months, maybe June. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have it worked out where we can sell something. I don't know. Give people more access for a lower price. Right now it's a Termar Trading Lab perk, and so alrighty. Moving on, oil. Let's go back over to this chart where I actually have stuff drawn for oil right here. Oil dropped down, 4-hour roadmap line. Came shy of the daily so far, but I'm kind of thinking, I don't know, this could be an intermediate bounce here before we get down there. This really looks like we might go down to the daily, although we could hold this 4-hour. And you may be like, JT, does this work? Does this new thing work on futures? Guess what? You have to change the contracts, but so it's only one. And if it'll load, oh, no, no entries for that, I guess. It does work, but it doesn't like oil for some reason. Oh, I turned it off. Duh. Helps if you turn it on. Push the power button. There we go. So 73% likely on the 4-hour. Daily, much better. 80% on oil. If it'll bounce, but we haven't touched it yet, so that would be a higher probability bounce if we touch the daily. 4-hour, not as good. But the 1-hour provides a strong, and that one failed right there. Kind of bounced and failed. I don't know. We'll see what happens on oil. I think we'll probably do a little deeper before we go higher. But doesn't have to reach down there. Just haven't done this a while. The daily looks like where we might be headed right there. Certainly looks like where we might be headed. Brent looking a little different here, but still also might reach down and bounce off the daily. I mean, look, we've gone a long way up off the lows. From back here in December, that was a long way up. It was a volatile trip to get here, but that was a long way up, and we may see that retrace back to the roadmap line. Gasolina, right there, RB1, wholesale prices, 279, 272. This baby, like, jump. I tell you, man, gasoline prices here jumped 60, 70 cents just in like a week. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Not really seeing a lot of relief yet either. This may pop and break on out, much to the dismay, I guess you might say, of the Biden administration if gasoline prices go nuts. But so far, we've avoided a Middle East conflict. We'll see if that escalates any further. Right there, just kind of operating this channel, kind of pulling the channel on up. So that could be the bottom, and we rally back up to the top of the channel. Now it's gonna make it a little difficult to reach up and hit the target up there around 90, but we could hold the zone here. So, heating oil still kind of churning. This is like upside down roadmap bounce. 70% likely we're probably going to go down to $2.36 before we find a bottom. It's just at this point, it's kind of likely we're going to extend this on down just a little bit before we find a bottom and bounce. That's the way it works. Natural gas just kind of hovering sideways here. As I've said a few times, I think we're probably going to just do this pattern in a smaller scale right there. We did this bottom in February 23. We did this pop in March of 23, and we did this double-ish bottom thing in April of 23. Well, that's kind of matches what we did right here. We didn't go lower, kind of bottomed out late March, almost April, and then we've just kind of gone sideways. So last year we drifted back up until we hit the roadmap line sometime out here in October, November. So we may do that again, where we just kind of drift up over here and kind of hit in October, November, and then roll over again. Possibly. I think we're still due for pushing on down just a little bit more. So we'll see what happens. Gold is potentially finding a bottom today. That was a really nice spike reversal thing. Doji hammer with a twist, inverted backflip. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Really nice. Really, really nice. Push lower and then ended up closing basically flat for the day on a doji. Just beautiful price action right there for a potential bottoming price action. I would like to see it push up through the 15-minute roadmap line here. Not my favorite when we just kind of bust through the 5 and then stop at the 15. That could indicate we get continuation lower. That continuation lower at this point could result in a move down to 22.95, 2300 right down here. But we touched in the zone where I thought we would for a full correction. And pull those over and pull that over like that. That's in the zone for the full correction. So we can be done here, and this can be it. And this can, nothing to see, and we move on at this point. I would like to see it touch just a little bit lower as far as ideal price targets. I'd like to see that 210 right there to give me an opportunity to load back up at a reasonable price. But because I sold my $300 calls up here, and I'm sitting kind of with no long-term exposure on gold. We'll see what happens. I do have some gold miners, but I lightened up on my long-term exposure of gold because this chart doesn't look as clean as the futures. This needs a bit lower right down in this zone to clean this up. So a little bit different there. And then silver, SI, that one also could be done with this move. Right there, the initial drop, the retrace, and we tagged the parity. Like this is where, what have I drawn? It's like that. Dropped off of here. It took a little while, but we got there. You see right here, right there. That's the parity move right there, where the first move down and the second move down are the same size, essentially. And we did that in both gold futures, and that's what that 100% line represents, and the silver futures. But we didn't do it in either of the ETFs, not even kind of close. So derivatives, you know, derivatives are derivatives. They're not the actual. And spot market futures are not the actual, although that one got a lot closer than gold did, GLD did. So we'll see what actually cooks here. These can be done. Like they met the minimum criteria to be done on their current correction. Just throwing that out there. It is potential. Copper, on the other hand, has shown some strength still, but holding the resistance. Has not broken above this high right back from over here. We've got to break above that to indicate that we're going on higher at this point. This can be a giant three-wave move. And that giant three-wave move could be a giant corrective three-wave move. That until we break above that high, we don't really start clearing that potential. And actually, we can still hold that all the way up to 474 area right up in here and still turn down. This is unclear at the moment on whether we've wrapped up the rest of the correction or not. So this move down right here. The reason I'm so concerned about this at this point, we have done this initial move down. This is a retrace into resistance. We could easily do something like that down to a lower low. And that's kind of like where I've had this target down here for a long time. Very cautious about that right there on copper, because copper is kind of like, you know, as many things are bellwethers of the economy. This is like, if the economy is going to be rocking and rolling, copper rips. If it's not, copper does this kind of corrective crap right here. So it's kind of got me cautious there on what's happening. And my new favorite wish I was in it chart right here. Look at this craziness. Look at that. If you thought you missed anything, look at that, baby. Look at that. Ridiculous. That's $11,000 a ton for cocoa beans. You know, historically, $2,000 a ton. $1 a pound. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. You feel like you missed something in the market? Maybe you feel like you missed some Bitcoin. Maybe you feel like you missed gold. Maybe you feel like you missed something. I bet you didn't get a piece of this one. You missed out on that. Like, you know, tell me what you got, and I'll tell you all the things you didn't get. I mean, there's always opportunity that in the market that you don't see, you don't know about, you don't grab a piece of. But that is absolutely freaking crazy right there. How do you trade cocoa? You trade it with /CC. That's the cocoa futures right there. All right. And Bitcoin. How do you short CC? You just go sell a future. It's pretty easy. If you have a futures account, you just click the sell button instead of the buy button. There's not like anything special. There's no extra margin for shorting futures. And Bitcoin maybe reversing here. Now this one, remember all that stuff I just said about that pattern where the first move down and the second move down? Right here, look. I missed the very tip top there. Look right there. Look. Basically parity right there. This move can be done right on the halving event. That was pretty slick for Bitcoin. This can go higher right here. That next target right up here around 77,000. I wouldn't call it high probability since we didn't really stop at any roadmap line. We kind of went below the 4, kind of went way below the 1. The dollar came up shy. It doesn't make me feel super great until we start breaking above this consolidation right up here at this point. We're going to have to get above that which doesn't leave a lot of room. It's only 5 grand left from here to here. So that's kind of like, if you're not in it, maybe just kind of wait till something's more clear. I mean, if you're going to have serious FOMO and hate yourself, maybe buy a small position of something that's leveraged like BitX shares. But I wouldn't play options at this point because it can go down as easy as it can go up. Like, support is right down here. And resistance is right up here for the short term. And as you can see, we're almost right in the middle, a giant coin flip. Like, does it go down? Does it go up? I don't know. There's potential. Like, it has the pattern to go on up here. Like, it, 70% likely. But at this point, it's not getting there. It's not doing it. Hadn't hit the roadmap line or anything like that to prove it's gonna be at support here. Now, Ethereum, a little different story. We did touch the daily roadmap line, and we're holding a lower high so far. This one may get classified as a security by the SEC. We'll see. And they do have a potential spot ETF approval. So what's next in crypto? Ethereum spot ETF approval sometime out here mid-May. I don't have the exact date on my memorized because I think they're going to classify it as a security, and it's going to take another bath before it another knee-jerk reaction lower before we get there. But I mean, I've been wrong before. I might be wrong on this. It's highly speculative. I'm not playing it to the downside. I'm just waiting. I actually liquidated on this little pop right here and just kind of been waiting to see what happens. Alrighty. It has come to that time of the day where we do requests. So now, one request per person, per message. You must wait for at least a couple other people to go. Use all capitals when you type it in. Don't kind of and if you're going to ask me a question, please ask the complete question. Don't say, you missed my blah, blah, blah. Just tell me what it is that you wanted me to hit. Like, sometimes the chat jumps around and I miss it. Give me tickers. If you're going to request a crypto, make sure it's like BTC USD with the US dollars, so I know it's a crypto. Don't just give me like some obscure crypto that I've never heard of, and I try to type it in. I'm like, I can't find it. I don't know. I look up the wrong chart. If you want Forex, make sure like JPY USD or whatever it is, EUR USD, whatever it might be that you want me to look up. If you're looking for a future, give me the 1 exclamation point, the trading view way. That way I can do it quickly, make it easy on me. And I think that's all the rules. I'll go until I have to go to the bathroom, or I get hungry, or or I get to the bottom of the list. So probably might take an hour. That's how long it's taken lately. All right. So go. And looks like Ford first up on the list. And this is a choppy, sideways, gnarly piece of garbage right here. Now, on the small time frame, the small time frame of the 1 day, looking at the, look at this, 84% likely. It has done the bounce here, has not closed above the 618. Look at this, look at this, look at this. It's pretty exciting. Fairly exciting. I feel like it's exciting. If we get above that 618, about, what was that, 80, just put the 84% likely that we're going to rally up to this 14 area right up here. High probability trade, baby. Right there. Trigger is above 1320-ish right there. 1318, 1315, 1320. So we get a daily close up there. Set up to go right there. Alrighty. Next up. And these are based on the daily, like the trigger is a daily close or the candle closing above the 618. Then you get in the next candle. So these profit factors and stuff have, like if it's a giant move up here and it closes and you get in right there, that all is baked into this. It doesn't get in right here just because it closed up here. Like none of that stupid crap. All right. None of that stupid crap on the statistics there. All right. And dun, 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 dun. Baba has been a piece of junk, and it's still a piece of junk, just chopping in the zone. That's untradeable to me. That's just gappy garbage underneath the roadmap line. Untradeable. No entry, no nothing. Just a consolidation, a low consolidation right here. There's the resistance. There's the supports right there. That's all it is. AKT, USD. And, well, looks like that did the bounce already. Tried to shoot up, and it's going to do a daily close below the 618. Well, not much I can say. 745 is the upside, and looks like that giant candle is going to be the resistance at this point. Kind of mucked that chart right the F up right there. Now, opportunity for that to just be the pullback. You know, maybe this is a smaller time frame. This is just pullback, and we ramp again. I don't know. That's beyond the scope of 30 minutes of awesome. I kind of do high time frame analysis. That if that holds right there, we break back above that 618. Could rally up there. I don't know. We'll see. SVXY. What you want to know? There's not much to know here. VIX is the chart that you really want to know about. Like, this is the chart you should watch for SVXY. We have support coming up right here. If we get a continued rally in the stock market, this is probably going to plummet on down. You know, despite we saw some lower action on Friday, but this thing was already plummeting back down pretty severely. And so once we get below this action, probably going to come on down in here fairly quickly. Back down to 13, which has kind of been the resting spot for this for all of this year. We've gotten a spike, return, spike, return, spike, return, spike, return, spike, return, spike, return, spike, return. That's what we're likely to do. I was calling for a move up to 20 for, gosh, all the way back here. Finally did it like 2 months later, and probably going to come all the way back down. Now, why does that matter for SVXY? Well, because we tend to, this is short VIX right here. So this goes up, and because of the backwardation of VIX, this tends to go up and up and up and up and up and up over time. Even during the pullback in the market, this thing didn't really get beat up that bad and then went higher again. And it just did a reverse split, so it's messing with the numbers. I mean, just did a split, not a reverse split. It did a split. I'm so used to reverse splits on all this garbage that we look at. This did a regular old split, and it's messed with some of the numbers on the options, but probably going to return to the high. And it didn't do a daily roadmap bounce. It came up just shy. Got really freaking close. I was looking for a 15% pullback, but it didn't quite do it. It's been my favorite. Every 15 to 20% pullback, we usually shoot right back up in about 45 days. But a little bit smaller time frame, 4 hour, right there. Almost about to close above the 618, which sets the likelihood. You know, turn on my handy dandy statistics. 72% likely. If we can break above there, we're going up there. Average 38 bars. That's 4 hour bars. Since I'm on the 4 hour chart. So how long would that be? Do the math. 38 times 4 divided by 8.5. It's 8.5 hours per trading day. There you go. Or maybe 6.5. I don't know. It's like 2.5 bars per day. I don't know. I don't work on the 4 hour chart very often, so I don't know the 4 hour statistics. All right. Dun, 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 dun. ESI. And the 4 hour bounce. Still shy of the daily. And that's going to be the support on the 4 hour. Looking for a move back up through 25 to 26. And I heard that AI and the high need for electrical power was creating movement in HG. Well, cool story. I don't know if that's the truth. I doubt it. I mean, just throwing it out there. It's a narrative. It's not a reason the chart moves. It's a mind bender. When you really, if enough people believe the narrative, it tends to work out. But I caution you on believing narratives. And that one shy of the roadmap line. I usually just stick on the daily, which this one's just floating out in no man's land. So 86 potentially. So we went a little deep on the hourly here. that one doesn't have a clear. The pullback was either too small or too big, and we don't have a long history here either. So not much I can say. Maybe that's all she needed to go higher, but not my favorite. Elf has been sitting on this roadmap for a few days now. Tagged it, rallying a little bit. That would be the entry price up here. 196.50. Close above that. 241. Right up there. The statistics on this one, not great though. It might work out, might not work out. Just throwing it out there. This one took too long. It didn't actually fire off. I do have a size requirement for these bounces. Like they can't take a super long time. So this one may not actually fire off either. Like that one didn't. Took too long. And Amazon. It's not going to surprise me one bit if this retraces pretty hard. Potentially to the roadmap line, potentially down here. Now, it could break out, but as Rungamer pointed out, 2-day shipping was back on some stuff. I don't know about all stuff. I haven't verified it myself, but maybe 2-day shipping's back. Is that going to encourage people to buy more stuff? We do have a target, ultimate target up here, around 240 for now. Could it go higher? Yeah, sure, much higher. Now, this is like, it has the big time frame. This is like a weekly chart. Weekly chart, maybe a monthly chart. Is that a monthly chart? Yeah, monthly chart bounce. Right there. So 218, 254, and possibly we start out a mega run. Could go up to 300, 400. We'll see. See what happens on Amazon. I think, like, look how many monthly greens that is. Green, red, green, 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 red, green, 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 red. If we close the month green here, that'd be another green. That's a long time with no pullbacks. I mean, look back in here. It hadn't hardly done a big monster move like this ever. Like, this is one of the most bullish moves ever on Amazon right here. Ever. That was weird. I just heard my alert tone. Anyway. I didn't get it on my watch, though. That was a weird thing. Dun, 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 dun. That's Amazon. I'm just cautious on Amazon. As bullish as it's been, it needs a pullback. And I assume you're talking about Avalanche, not... Please, when you type in a crypto, use the USD part, because I work in dollars. And got a market roadmap pullback. Break it back above 50. 71.83 on the upside. That's what we got cooking. Square has been lackluster, but it did a roadmap bounce. Right back down. Hadn't broken down. Bounce. Get above that. And I've already got an alert there. I wonder why. 81, 92, 98 on the upside. And how likely is it? Not great. Another one that doesn't have great statistics. There's a reason why I set up the alerts on the 30-minute, not on the daily at this point. DPZ has looking pretty darn bearish at this point. I'm kind of bearish on it. I don't know. We're holding. So remember this big pattern I started out talking about earlier? Right here, where we move down. We retrace. You see these 3 big moves, 1, 2, 3, right into the 786. We kind of pushed a little further than I would expect. Of course, we went down a lot faster, and we're stalling out right here. If we break back down below this roadmap line, could result in a large downside here. Extra large, with extra onions and anchovies. And yeah, that's DPZ for you. Bullish case, maybe. Right now, this 3-wave move has me really concerned that we're gonna have to have some sort of pullback to get continuation. We've turned down right at a marginal spot to be turning down. cautious there. That could just drop out of the bed too. Just wet the bed and fall out on the floor. HPE is just chopping. Just a nasty chart. Three-way. Yeah, that has no signs of continuation. I'm a trend pullback continuation pattern person, so if it's not going to trend, it's not for me. That looks like chop, and it's in a very low dollar range, so I'm not sure what you would be looking for to make money. It's not the chart for me. Sorry, Akanik. Don't recognize your name, but welcome to the stream. And FAS. Put my fingers on the right keys. FAS did a little bounce here on the 4 hour. Beautiful dreamer. So close. This is a leveraged ETF here. Be careful on leverage. Be careful. Leverage can cut both ways. This can fail and go down hard like a sack of potatoes. And let's check it out. Strategy tester. Turn that back on. We have only 61%, so not the greatest potential for a bounce here. Even if it does set up and turn and fire off, it only 61% likely. It's better than 50-50, but not all tickers are created equal here. The leverage messes with these. Spot, I did that one this morning, and ugh, it was rallying pretty good and rejected pretty good. Really kind of wanted to see that one break out and keep going. It may in the subsequent days, but it may also retrace back down to the roadmap line here on the daily. It's gone a long way up. It can come a long way back down. We paused briefly at that target and then shot right up here. Now, big picture, it's probably like if you've got nothing but time, you got shares, probably heading on up here eventually. It's going to be a while. Could retrace the roadmap line first. You got to be able to hold on. So your downside support probably around 230. Your upside target up there around 460. So that's a wide range to play in right there. Big tickers, big prices. I am not involved in spot right now. ARE short says, I don't know. I'm not convinced it's short right now. I was convinced back here. We played this one at the downside. Target was down here at 100, and we actually outperformed just a little bit. The pattern was back here, like a dot. Well, did I get it right? Yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah, right down there, 100. That was the target. We exceeded it a little bit. Now we've turned around, potentially holding the roadmap line on there on the daily. This is actually somewhat more bullish. And this thing actually fired off a long right there, retraced. It is upside down slightly. 74% likely, though, that it rallies on up. That target, 141, usually takes 59 days to get there. So, on average, there's the support zone. So, 59 days on average from right there. It's out. This trading day is not, it's 59 bars. So, it would be out here on June 5th. If it's going to go up to the target on average. Now that could last 3 times longer, could last shorter. There you go. So I'm not so sure it's going lower for now. That's 74% likely going up. That target would be up there around 140-ish, 139, 140 on ARE. Netflix. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So close. So close. I was saying that I thought we would retrace back to the roadmap line just because of the nature of this rolling over, coming up shy of the all-time high. Dip. Now, the thing to watch at this point, first move down, retrace back to, oh gosh, got a gap fill. Got gap fill resistance. This thing left a gap back here that stayed for a couple years. We finally filled it right back up in here, and now we're leaving a little baby micro gap in here, and we may go retrace to the roadmap line there. Could come up, test part of it, and get the further pullback into the 520 area. playing with fire right there. Nothing high probability. I wouldn't get involved in this right now. It's dangerous. SLB, there's better stuff to be playing with. SLB, sideways, potentially going to retrace back to the bottom of the box. Just playing in this range between 42 and 62. Has been in there for over a year now. And not great. Not great on SLB. ARM, still working on the target, baby. Almost there. Almost there. Oh, we have a little bit of signs of the roadmap line getting ready to make. Kind of touched it there. A little bit lower. I expect it to fill that gap down. Like that gap up, I expect it to fill it back down. I really do. Really do. I'm telling you. Nothing bullish. And until I have a full roadmap line, like I'm not really going to be able to predict much chart action. But IPOs are bearish. And even though that went a little lower here, did this crazy thing, I kind of think that we might go lower than this one more time. The nature of this did not look like a bullish continuation, you know, something that would be bullish that we could build continuation off of. Now we could find, oh gosh, excuse me, could find support in here and turn higher again, but not so sure. Not so sure, he says. And all right, I just skipped a bunch of stuff because I hit the mouse roller on the wrong screen. And going back to SoFi. SoFi on the daily is just nothing. It's underneath the roadmap line and a bunch of nothing. Bunch of nothing. Now on the 30-minute, we actually got a trade that I get fired off and entered and exited. Beautiful right there. Look at that, 93%. When this one fires off on the 30-minute, it's pretty much going to work. Or at least it has historically. That one worked right there. Beautiful. On the daily, not as awesome because it's kind of choppy and just kind of sitting there. GE, I'm out of that one, by the way. I was in it this morning. That one, that 30-minute thing worked out, and I'm off of it. GE probably going to go test this all-time high or prior high situation. 222. I don't remember what I had going on with the box. You remember what the box was? I don't remember what the box was. I think it's a resistance zone up there. Let me see. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's from that right back there. I didn't think it was the all-time high. Comes from that right there. That resistance, we may push into it, and I would be cautious. Definitely cautious. BTDR. Back to the daily. Oh my gosh. Nasty chart. Ew. Gross. Just going to keep doing that. I wouldn't expect it to do anything else right there. That is a nasty looking chart. I don't care if they're a crypto miner or what. That looks like a nasty looking chart. Gross. Ugh. Not for me right there. KRE. Not so sure that's going down either. That's a coin flip. Like resistance, support, stuck in the middle, coin flip. Not long, not short. That's just a coin flip. And speaking of coin flip, coin. I really want this to come down to the roadmap line on the daily here. I really want it to do that, but it might not. Just might not do it. 4 hour came up just shy. Why can't fun things, like things you can make a lot of money on, do the good patterns here? So far, just nothing reliable. Possibly a 3-wave correction thing, like that started out with that ES thing I was talking about. We pushed a little deep into the 1272 area, so the last move here not quite as big as the first move. And that was the lower low right there. I mean, the last move bigger than the first move. Excuse me. The first move not quite as big as the second move. And while that can be where reversals are born, I like to see it actually touch something like the 4-hour roadmap line. Gives me higher probability that, you know, higher probability pattern, something we can actually work off of. Like this one is still a 50-50 though. So not the best on that one. And the daily, I doubt we have, yeah, there's probably no trades because it doesn't have enough history. It's a relatively new stock. Doesn't have much history of bouncing and going. So 1 hour worked out back here, but now it's just kind of blah. 80% on the 1 hour. That'd be the one to watch right there, but that's not a bounce either. We're gonna have to get a move up and a retrace and a continuation. Nothing, you know. I would feel much more confident if it retraced to the daily roadmap line here, held up, turned back higher. I'd probably trade for these targets way the freak up here. 538, possibly 676. We do have that major resistance right there to get above though. And this is like, you see that big pattern that, you know, IPOs not, remember what I said just a second ago, IPOs not bullish on ARM. There you go. Made the lower low. That's probably going to be the low forever and until Coinbase goes out of business or whatever. And everything rotates out. Like crypto may one day not be, Coinbase may one day not be a player in crypto. You never know. ENPH stuck under the roadmap line. That's not bullish. Support down here makes it not bearish. So it's just stuck in a somewhat bearish position. Can't get out of its own way here. EPD. It did a consolidation, maybe. Oh, gosh, everything missed the freaking 4 hour. God darn it. If it's going to do this move, 30, I can't give you statistics because it didn't touch the roadmap line. And the 1 hour has kind of muddied it all up. So it's not got a great pattern, but there again, yeah, it's a little big. It's very similar to an echo right there, which my echo trade theory, trend pullback continuation. That's not really a great trend either, but if it did the same pullback twice, you could kind of expect the same reaction twice. 32 would be the upside if it's going to do that. I don't give it the highest probability of doing that, but there you go. That's what I got. Sushi swap. Sushi USD, and there's the market open. My alarm. Piano music. And let's go with that. Oh my gosh, that looks horrible. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's gotta, like, if it gets below this low is incredibly important right now. If we get below that low, game over. We're going down here. Probably going down here. Got to get back above that daily roadmap line. Like, this is a have to do situation at this point. If we come up here and bounce down, whoo, baby, that's going down. Now, if this works out, possibly 283, possibly 340, but then, oh my gosh, this looks really bad. Yeah. I don't have high hopes for that. I have to say that this is not one that I would be highly favorable for. That looks pretty bad. I have to say, I think we're going to find resistance right here and not go higher. There's a lot of better cryptos, and that is not one of them, Dave33. Sorry, my bad, my man, 333. Play Dave and Buster's. Back to the roadmap line vicinity. Potentially going to hold up here and break higher. 74.80 on the upside. And PPNG. Chaping. Chapang. How do you say that? Chapang. We're going to go with that one. Got resistance at 23.75. That little guy. Why didn't I go with that one? Because look, it's already blown through all the targets. It's already blown that one like way outsized move. So resistance on the bigger swing there. And this has got like swing. It's got kind of a nested setup here. Could go higher. That low, that high, that low. Pull that actually down to the low because I missed. Potential to go up to the 28, possibly. This 28, 29 area right here, and 33 above that. And we'll see what happens. I like this big consolidation right there makes me think we may go test that. Pop up there and see what happens. The pullback there will be telling. If we hold a higher low and bust up through that again, could be looking at much higher targets, but that's what I expect at this point. Then we could fail here and go down, back down to the roadmap line. We could go revisit the roadmap line, super easy, on the daily. All right, PBD. That's the resistance. The top of that candle is the resistance at this point. It fudged that chart right up. And 164, 178 are upside resistance. And there's no... Because it did this stupid thing right here, it messed up that chart. Where you have to kind of take it on a hope and a dream that we're going to bust above that and go higher, which is not my kind of trading. I like how high probability stuff, not stuff with stupid candles in there that make giant resistance. So, you know, we've got that high right there. We poked above, but then closed back below. That just mucked that right up right there. Now, you could be like, well, let's dismiss it and go over here and just look at this. That's okay. Got to get above 134 to go up to about 157, possibly 169. I give it a high likelihood, though, that we're going to stop in this zone where we got rejected from. You know, we rejected there, rejected there, rejected there. I mean, that's 3 times. What makes you think we're just going to blast on through? Probably going to reject it again. All right? Till the market tells you something, it's going to do something different. It does the same thing over and over because we're just people. We do repetitive things. RKLB. That's like Roblox, but different letters. Absolute garbage. Don't trade this stuff. Like, seriously, what are you thinking? What do you think I'm going to say about this? A piece of garbage is what this is. Don't trade stocks like this. Seriously. Like, do you like losing money? That's what this is, a money trap right here. It's a money pit that, you know, I can tell you tons of reasons why I've done trades like this and lost money in the past. And, I mean, look at this one. Look at this. Similar situation. And then it just went down to freaking 0, and it's just been sitting at 0. How many shares I got? I got like 3,000 shares at 0 at this point. And don't trade garbage. I keep getting. I've paid for my education. Don't pay for yours. All right. Don't trade stuff like that. That is a nasty chart and highly likely to go on down. Could it come back? Sure. Is it going to provide a better entry if it does? Sure. Right now, looks like a piece of garbage. Dropbox, sideways, garbage. Like, you can't make any money with. I mean, sure, you could make some money on this. You're not going to make significant money on something that just sits there sideways for years. Look at this. Ever since it became a stock, it's been sideways at the bottom. Don't trade stuff like that. Dropbox garbage too. Mora. This one has high potential to break out right here. High potential. You could say it's garbage, but it's been holding higher lows. This is a higher low. That's a higher low. This is a higher low. Be careful. The wind up. Don't bet against it. That's. I took off my. I had a short call on this at 23. I took that off today. If we break out, it's got a big upside potential. Let's go to a clean chart and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Don't like to remove all my price data that I've got on there. I actually use these charts to trade off of. Right here, you got to put it in log mode because it's going to move big. Or it has already moved big in the past. So look, this is the wind up right here. So we moved up, we retraced, held this move right here. This is a bigger nested pattern, just in case anybody's not caught up to what's going on here. This is a move up. This is a retrace. This held the 618. This is a measured bounce right here. All right, big time frame, big picture, really big time frame pattern. That sets it up for a move up here. All right. Now, those are ridiculous numbers. Yes, I agree. So I like to jump back down and kind of go more conservative, 137. That's probably more realistic. But proportional wise, that messes with all the proportions. So, I mean, could it do something absolutely ridiculous? It possibly could. It could do ridiculous numbers. I wouldn't bet more than 200 at this point, but you know, it could possibly go all the way up to 500, maybe even 1,000, 2,000. Let's see. I'm probably gonna make $1 million on my trade if we get up in this 150 area, 130 to 150, right up in here. But right now, small time frame, bring it back, come back down. We've done potential daily market roadmap bounce. It's going to have to break back above this 27 area right here. Maybe like, well, why are you so confident on this? Look at this, 75% likely. If we trigger this off, we're going to run at least to 39, 46, possibly higher continuation. But that's what we're looking at right now. 39, 46. All right. That's Mara for you. UNH. Bounced off of the daily roadmap line. This is not a good sign. That low, that high. It's the same pattern upside down. Break below the 618 right here. Probably come down to 419. See what we did last time right there. That one right there went right down, bust down, and got the extension. 1618. That's perfect too. Look at it. Right down to the 1272, retrace back in, and out to the 1618. So, you don't think we can do it? We can absolutely do this again. Right down here, retrace back up, and drop on down. That's the pattern until we prove we're going higher. Right now, that's lower highs all day long. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Right there. That's a bearish trade. All right. Well, TSM close above 138 by 517. You got me, baby. I don't know. What do you think? I think it's probably likely to close down here. 120. Probably likely to do this. That looks more likely than closing up here. Could it go up here? Sure, it could. Could be done. That could be a three-wave correction thing like I've talked about. We didn't quite touch the parity where the first wave down and the second wave down are the same size. Right there, off of there. Didn't quite get there. Gives me a downward bias because we didn't drop. We didn't complete. Kind of an echo in the market. So, and that's kind of like a head and shoulders. Look. You see it right here? Look. If you don't know this one, go look it up. See it right there? Ooh, baby. That could mean a move down to the roadmap line. Right there. I'd watch out. That's got more patterns for down than it does for up at the moment. That's a topping pattern. That's a target. That's support. That's resistance. That's TSM for you. Already did square, H bar, USD. Yeah, looks reasonable to go higher. Upside target, 16 cents and 18 cents. Not big. Not a big mover. And CDLX. Rejected. Rejected. Well. Might do a secondary bounce. Same target. That's kind of funny. Resistance is right there. Support is the gap fill right there. And if we get below it, technically that went higher and could be continuation like that. Could continuation down $1. Oh, yeah, not great there, right? JT, that's horrible news. Yeah, sometimes it's that way. If we go to the log, turn the log mode on, turn the auto off. Possibly hold up for 269. These ones where they go negative, I have to take them off. You know, I do have an upside target up here, but it's just not. We have some resistance right there at this point at 23.24. That's choppiness. I wouldn't. Right now, I'm not messing with that. Just MSFT probably coming back to the roadmap line. Up over here. Probably going to come back in that zone sometime. Do we do it now? Do we do it later? I don't know. Do we do it on earnings? You know, Apple right there scraping in the target. Finally. This one is that same corrective pattern right here. Look, this one just took a while. There, same pattern. That moved down, that moved up, that moved down. We finally got there. This thing could pop on earnings. It could. I'm not saying it will, it just could. It also could finish moving to the bottom of the box at 157. SMR. So Microsoft could retrace. New Scale Power Corp. Well, not the best looking chart, but with what we got cooking, here's resistance. Here's support. If we get below that, we have the potential to go down further. Down here. And if we break above resistance, potential to go up here. Big range, yeah, that's why I said that's not the greatest setup at the moment. Coin flip, baby. You can 3x your money, or you could lose half your money. Not the greatest. Not my favorite. There's way better stuff. Gold? I mean, I already did GC. That's just GC right there. Unless you're talking about Barrick mining gold, which is that one. Retrace to the roadmap line. And it's been sideways. It rejected that high. Rejected the breakout. Are you very cautious? Could retrace deeper. It's been very sideways, so there's a strong support right there. There's a strong resistance right there. And why I did not choose this one to play, it could dip down here. NEM was my pick because this looks like a flush out and a reversal. Move up, retrace the roadmap line. Next extension higher would be potentially top of the box there. Break out above that and get some move on up to the next zone up here. So I like NEM better than GOLD just because of the pattern at this point. PNW is stuck on the roadmap line. It's fired off a super aggressive entry back here, held a higher low. It's still stuck in this consolidation. So it's just stuck. Stuck right there. Didn't break higher, didn't break lower. Stuck. Has a resistance all the way up here. We consolidated there, and we gap down from way up here. Can it just shoot up here? Absolutely. If it fills this gap all the way up here to 361, probably going up to 413. We'll see what happens. I have a couple shares of this. Like 2, I think. Maybe 2. I think I have 2. All right. JT's not a big trader all the time. Sometimes I just have a couple. Anyway, RELX probably coming back down to the roadmap line. Right in there. And AVAX, I did Avalanche on Avalanche USD, and I don't see a Nasdaq ticker or a NYC ticker, so. And AVTR. Not a lot there. I mean, that doesn't give me that spicy feeling right there. That move up and a lackluster attempt to break out. It's like it's stuck right there. And then it's got another consolidation right above it. So what happens when we get up in there, and why does it stop like that? That's because somebody bought a big position in that area and then got ripped, and they're just looking to get back out when we get up there. And so that's why we find these zones where we stop. So when we chop like this, we'll probably pop up there, and unless we just blow through it, we'll probably turn down again from up there. It's kind of what happens. That's why I'm cautious on these zones where we consolidate like that. And you may be like, JT, run a fib line. Well, there's not much to work off of here. Like that doesn't really, there's no proportion to what we've done here. And it's very difficult to run any fib lines when it just goes on a rip, barely rechases, goes on a rip, and stops at the resistance. It's not constructive price action. Anyway, NEE. So what we got here, next Terra Energy. Let's pop back up to the daily. We broke above the roadmap line, retraced, got the extension, probably already hit the target. Yeah, hit the 1272. Next resistance at the 1618 at 68, which just happens to be same kind of thing I was just warning about on the other chart. Right there. And then we consolidated right above it, right there. Could it shape up into something more bullish? Possibly. I was a little more bearish when we dropped back here. This so far is just 3 waves, and the thing I have to warn you about. Check this out. So due to the nature of how far down we are and how far we came down, and the way this is, right here, that same move I was talking about, like ES, I started out saying, I've talked about this several times today. That move up, upside down, that parity move right there for a correction that could result in continuation lower. I would be highly, highly, highly cautious of this zone right there between 73 and 79. Highly cautious. The continuation lower would be 42. I'm just full of good news today on some stuff. CLSK. Looks like we missed the roadmap line just a little bit. Now, We're stuck right at the 618. We didn't bounce off the roadmap line, so that's not, maybe on the 4 hour, maybe, yeah, maybe. Let's see how good that one is. 66%, not the best. Not the best. Doesn't give me all that warm, fuzzy feeling stuff, but 66% chance that we go up here to 27 or 28-ish. Right up in there. Because it did close above. That's a close above the 4 hour. There you go. Simple as that. And SCHW. Shawam. Shawam. Hit the first target. I have a higher target on up here. Based on some bigger pattern. So we did this big 3-wave move right there. This one was got a little excited on the third move down right there. Went a little too far. I'm working on the reversal. Watch for resistance there. We get above that, and it could take us, due to the bigger pattern, we could be heading on up here at 220. It's going to take some work. We're going to have to get above this 95, then above the 100, and then 150, and then possibly 200. Got a bigger pattern, bigger picture, bullish, constructive pattern for going higher. On Schwab. Schwab. Mara, already did. CRM, Salesforce, back to the roadmap line. I'd like to see that dip just touch it. Just touch it. A little bit lower. So support at 265, 260, 265 area. And resistance right there at the 362 area. It's like 100 points up. That's the... See, we're doing the... This is what I was talking about. Like, there's healthy retraces and then extension, and a healthy retrace and extension. That could take us even up to 420 area right there on CRM. And Tesla was the whole beginning. Just pull the bar back. Let's pull the bar back. USO. I didn't really give a prediction because I want to see what happens in the morning. If we can hold it, we got a gap fill all the way up there on the last earnings. It's way up here. Got to get above that. Up here at 200. Got to get above that, and then things get spicy. We can go up here. We can't get above that. Probably going lower. And USO is retracing maybe to the roadmap line. Let's just clear this. At this point, I've got too much old stuff on there. Found resistance at the prior high. And the oil chart is the one to look at, but that may retrace back to the roadmap line. So support right there. And upside resistance 89 right there. And we're in the middle of a coin flip. Do we break out? We've already rejected the prior high. Roadmap line visit would be my preference at this point. You'd clear this up and give us a likelihood to go for continuation. Just got an alert for something or other. All right. J&J is pretty much a piece of garbage going lower. Did bounce off the downtrend line. Got the midpoint of the trend line that we found resistance at before. Of course, kind of we've done that. Bounced up, down, bounced up, down, bounced down. Do we bounce up? Yeah. It's in a big downtrend. Probably going to continue in the downtrend for a while. Maybe for 2 years. I don't know. SBooks has a potential large pattern here. Look at this baby. This is a measured bounce pattern. One of my favorite patterns right here. A little bit different than the market roadmap pattern that I show off constantly. And if you want the market roadmap, links in the description. You just expand the more button. It's like $5. I give you teach a class on how to use it and give you a weekly watch list for months for $5, and then give you an opportunity to get that list for a year. And like I said, I'm working on some cool stuff that builds on that. So this right here we have the resistance right there at the roadmap line. Oh, wrong tool. This one. That resistance right there. We get above that, starts tipping the odds. We're going way up here, 160. Something right there. And if we're going to be bullish, which that would be an all-time high, could be talking 191 on up here. So it all starts with a reversal. And so we jump down here, and we've got 4-hour resistance above us. Got 1 hour that we stopped at today. So we got to watch this. Watch for this breakout right here. We get above that 1 hour resistance, come up, retrace, move on up through the 4 hour, come up, retrace, come on up to the daily, break on up, get above this stuff, get above these spikes. This is where the reversal can be born from. But at this point, it's got a ways to go. And then we have fib resistance, of course. That right there, sitting right up here. Another layer right there where those tops were at 100. So you could see it's got some stuff to get through. And it's got some problems to work through. But it has a nice upside potential also. I do have a few calls out to 2026 on that. Don't remember the strike. BTBT. And they're $100 calls. If I remember right, BTBT is potentially trying to reverse off this low. Odds are we're going to push on lower, though, down in this 161 area. Watch out. They could hold that 183 where we did. Held that for 3 days and popping up. Still below the roadmap line. Still a downtrend of highs. Still looks pretty freaking horrible, all right? Like, that can still go much lower. I'm not even sugarcoating it a little bit. Like, that looks like what we might do. Piece of garbage chart right now on the micro time frame. On the bigger time frame, this was constructive up. This is a constructive retrace, and it can result in a bigger pop, much bigger than anything I've drawn on here. We could be talking about a pop, something like this move up, this retrace, wherever it might bottom out. Say we bottomed out already. Could be talking about a move up to this 30 area, and you'd be like, no way, look where we topped before, right here. Look at that. That lines up, just echoing. I mean, all it has to do, that move up, that retrace, that pop right there, and we could do a bullish extension to 66. That would be absolutely nuts for something that's currently trading for $2. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. You could buy a couple shares and sell them out at 66 and be a genius if we did that. I mean, you could sell them at 16 and be a genius. You'd be like, I made 400% just on shares. $800%. That's pretty good. Anyway, I have a few shares on that one. I bought them back here. I bought them at $1. Riding it, baby. Just riding it. I didn't sell them here. Didn't sell them here. Just riding. Let it ride on black. We'll see what happens. In MCD, that one has a potential bounce. Look at that. Same pattern as Starbucks. Same exact pattern. If it carries out, 330, possibly 350, right up there. Possibly 370 if we're going bullish. Look at that. And that one's actually getting going here. Pitter patter, let's get at her. And it's pushing above. Pushed above the 30. Pushing above the 1. Still got the 4 hour and the daily above us up here. And Roblox, RBLX. Looks pretty horrible. Probably going lower. That's a piece of garbage. Just chopping sideways. Nothing. And Link USD. Under the roadmap line. That's major resistance right there. We don't get back above that. Not good. No bueno. Get it back above that 18. Looking for 27. Gotta save it, man. If we turn down there, that can be the first move down, the retrace to the roadmap line, and next move down can take us down to $8. Ouch, that's like 50% loss right there on Link. Google. There's your paths right there. Got earnings coming in hot on Thursday. Right there. Pop sideways. We already kind of did this pop retrace, did a fast retrace, moving back up. It may pop up to the 1618. May very well do that. We already did the bounce back here, and that hit the target. So nothing high probability at the moment for Google. And it doesn't matter if it's GOG or GOGO. Same situation. Almost exactly. Next target 169. And KMB. Potential to go up here. But that's been sideways and choppy for a long time. So I wouldn't bet on it doing anything. I think I already looked at that one. BITQ. Potential to bounce right there. It did it, and it did the bounce off the roadmap line. Hadn't fired off the move above the 1618 at the. You see why I got an alert at 12:33 for a reason, and target's right up here, 14, 15. Own that one, right? And remember, if you're coming here and asking questions about crypto power plays, I'm not going to give you the depth of knowledge that I give out in crypto power plays. So you're not getting all the update. You're just getting the 30-second version. Riot coming up to resistance right here. Needs to get above that. That whole correction went from here to here. Resistance all in that zone. This is not a very awesome looking chart yet. Not even a little bit. Like this does not give me the warm fuzzies like Mora. I'm very cautious. We tagged that low, that downside right there, just tagged in the top of it. It really gets me concerned that we might turn down lower. Now, the bigger upside potential here, similar to Mora, similar to BTBT, would be, I'm going to have to zoom this out a little more. Right there, right there, right there. Potentially some crazy numbers. We're really going to have to start performing here, though. Just on the smaller numbers, smaller scale, this move, this move, this move. Potentially 49, 82. It's going to have to really get going here, though. This is being lackluster right now. Don't like this price action. Even Mara is kind of sketchy for me right now. It has big potential, but we've got to get above that. Got to get through 26, 37, then maybe 49, maybe on up here to the higher targets, 82. See what we get to. If we're super bullish, super bullish, we may see a rally way up here, but let's keep it in check at the moment. 82, 157. But these much lower 26 and 37 may prove to be resistance. I'm not so sure a lot of crypto miners are going to survive through this next cycle here after we rally. So Oracle, the next crypto winter that's going to happen probably in 26. So Oracle popped up, turned down right there, and returned to the roadmap line. Reset the whole thing, pull this over, that high, this low. Move up through 126. That's up for 137. And the statistics on that, 85%. That's a pretty smoking one. So set your alert there. 137 will be the target. Pretty darn nice right there. Well, cool. Tesla, TSLA. That's levers long. That's just Tesla basically. Man, Tesla's up like a beast. I'm glad I bought 20,000 shares right before the close on TSLA. I have to say, 20,000 shares is a pretty good investment right there. 539. Nice. See what happens on that one. Just kidding. I bought 1,500 shares. I didn't buy 20,000. UPS. I was talking about that this morning. Looks like we're going to do that watermelon seed squeeze thing. SIL is just kind of bouncing off the resistance. Probably come back to the roadmap line. Right there. Looks like several other things I looked at. And PLTR. Back to the roadmap line. Can we bounce? Possibly. Didn't quite hit it. I want to see it just actually hit it. I'd love to see that push on down just a little bit further. God, it's hard to believe I had that for $7 before. Isn't it $7 down here? Sold out right in here. And it may retrace. Like if we get below the roadmap line, watch out for this support right in here. Right in there. Alrighty. MSTR probably coming back to the roadmap line. I showed this off several times this week or the last couple weeks, I guess, on the morning stream. This is way outperformed Bitcoin. Like right here, BTC, UST, put on all-time history. Look at this. Bitcoin did this while MSTR did that. That didn't make any sense. These need to converge at some point in the future. MSTR probably going to drop. Bitcoin probably going to pop. Or if Bitcoin pulls back, this will probably outsize pop or outsize drop. Excuse me. Outside. You get an outsize move down because of the outsize outperformance up here. Be careful. That's bubbly. Bubbly, bubbly, bubbly. And PG. Nice upside potential. 165 on PG. BMO. And nothing. That's broke out of that and found resistance at that resistance. Once we get above that, maybe we could work on trying to go test the all-time high, but it's one of those, like, it doesn't give me any warm feeling that we're going to do anything fun. So, and that could just be a move up and we get a retrace and a move lower, possibly. BitX, I'm pretty sure I covered that, but it's just leveraged Bitcoin. I did the Bitcoin chart. That's just Bitcoin. And if we pop, huge potential. If we don't, roadmap line. That is leverage though, so be careful on leverage. And y'all are welcome. If I said anything that was helpful, give me a like. There's only 60 people left, so I'm gonna cut out. I'll see y'all later. See you in the morning. I'll be back. Same bat time, same bat